Yeah.
Hi, Ellen.
Hi, Bob. How are you?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm fine.
Good.
Did you have a devil of a time getting down your driveway? Or
Getting
you have-
down is not so hard. It's getting up.
Oh, I'm sure.
But
I
I just
dread
plow-
tomorrow.
I,
Go
I-
ahead.
I plowed it today, but I haven't gone anywhere.
Yeah, well, I dread trying to get anything where tomorrow morning after it freezes.
Yeah, it's going to get cold tonight.
Yeah.
It's going to be a skating rink.
Oh, yeah, everywhere. But I did, Becky, I did stop in at the town hall and you had all kinds of reports on power outages at the lake.
There were 89 households.
Well, at one
and-
point, go ahead.
The funny part was I was driving from Orange through Wendell trying to get to Leverett.
Mhm.
And the reason the power went out is this huge tree fell down across Depot Road, Wendell Depot
Okay.
Road.
I don't know where it
that's what
is.
took the power out.
Ah.
I saw it. I
Oh,
had to
great.
turn around and go, oh my goodness.
Go all the way around Robin Hood's barn.
It wasn't too bad. Have you ever been on Locks Hill?
I
Long
don't
Hill.
know any- no.
Long Hill.
No, Lock Hill.
Oh,
It's
Never heard
near
of it.
Jennison Road.
Oh, okay.
And it's
know where Jennison
really
is.
kind of scary. It's a top,
Oh,
it's like,
Like
You
a,
know Long
like
Hill
a
Road,
roller
Becky?
coaster.
yep.
Long
Oh,
Hill
boy.
Road is right there where the new stop sign is. You take a right there. And that's very
Yeah.
short distance from 63.
Oh, right, yeah. No, I was in Wendell after the, one second, I gotta get people
Oh,
in.
you were on Wendell Depot Road, not on Leverett.
Yeah, Wendell Depot Road,
Wow.
which it was kind of questionable whether I should, oh. It looks like Gail is here today too. Awesome.
Oh, great. Super.
So we're switching Gail for
Walter.
Walter
Wonderful.
with the Vadar system.
That's
Okay.
super. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. And the only one we're missing is Steve. And he may actually be working because when I drove by the town barn, all the cars were there.
Yeah, I just heard the trucks driving by.
Yeah.
So
I don't know that he'll make it in. Well, we'll
I
give him a
don't
few
think
more
so.
minutes, but I wouldn't be surprised.
no, I wouldn't wait on him. He'll
Oh,
probably
okay.
drive by my window and honk.
Okay. Okay. Anyway. Okay, what time is it? It is 6:01. So I call the meeting to order. And I don't have the agenda, but I know one thing we have to do is approve the minutes of the last meeting.
Yes. Mike's
So-
minutes.
Yes, Michael is wonderful because he does them right away. And we very much appreciate that. And so are there any errors or omissions in the minutes? Nothing?
Didn't see any.
Okay, so can I have a motion to accept them as written?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes
I'll second it.
from
Okay.
December 7th. Yep.
So the motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please signify by the upraised right hand. Okay, thank you. And there can't be any against it because everybody approved it. So be it. And Michael, will you please transmit those as usual to the town clerk?
I will do that.
That's so nice because it's so nice to know our minutes are getting in. Anyway, so it looks, okay, before we go any further, we have to make a time change on next week's meeting because I have to be in Westfield at 7 o'clock, which means if possible, if we could move it till 5 and only go to like 5:45, then I can make Westfield at 7. Because it takes almost an hour to get there. Is that convenient for people?
Fine with me.
Yeah, that's okay with me. Who are we gonna have? We're gonna have Walter next week,
Yeah,
and then somebody from the school, Jackie, or
Steve,
I think Steve usually tells
I
us
see.
who's coming. He
Okay.
works with who's coming, but we are planning on the school for next week. And
and there was highway too, right?
Yeah, but I don't
Highway.
think,
'Cause they
I
have a
don't-
new dump
yeah.
truck.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
don't think we can do 3 in a 45 minutes. I really don't.
So we need to schedule a third meeting.
So at this point, we're shifting it to 5 on next
If
Monday.
we can, yeah, please.
you in,
Because
Michael?
other-
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Thank you. I very much appreciate that. Okay,
Yeah, you're in
so-
dark mode.
yeah, yeah, Gail is very much in dark mode, isn't she? Oh, dear. Okay, so shall we, I don't know who to ask to
I
go
think
first.
Kristen was supposed to go first, if
Okay,
that's all
So-
right with Gail. She was on.
No problem. I'll put myself back
Okay.
on mute.
Thank you, Gail.
thank you, Gail. Okay, Kristen,
Hi,
hi, how are you today?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
Wonderful. How about everyone else? How are they all doing?
I
Okay,
think everyone from the department's doing well. We did have some quarantining, but we're getting through it.
oh, good. And how did Saturday go?
Saturday,
The Bridge Academy.
oh, went very well, actually. We have 3 left, 3 more Saturdays. Yeah, it was good.
Those are what, 8 or 9 hours? I know you told me.
8 or 9, depending on how long they want to keep us.
Mhm.
Just go with
Ouch.
it.
Very good. And you don't look like you're totally exhausted, so that's good news.
Well, I'm glad that my appearances are showing that because internally I'm exhausted.
Of course, that's expected. Okay, now you came to us asking to get a new cruiser.
Yes, actually, I have 2 requests, but the first one is I am requesting a new cruiser.
Okay, why don't you tell us about it?
All right, so we, as you know, the department came forward and had requested a cruiser the last go round.
Mhm.
We are getting up in our mileage with our cruisers. Currently, we do have 3 cruisers. The Crown Vic, which was did we decide that was a 2011, Becky?
Yes, it
Crown
is.
Vic.
2011. Yeah.
That completely died, you guys. We utilized it for Halloween. We were utilizing it in a standstill position, just with lights on, and it basically caught fire. The transmission seized, and it was just beyond repair. And so now we have 3 cruisers, which is fine. We have the 2 SUVs and we have the sedan. Now, the sedan is the 4-door sedan that Dan Fernandez used during his time up here. And I just found out that the sedan is looking like it might need some work. It's not outputting heat properly. It's not defrosting, and it's not putting any heat into the floorboard. And I'll tell you that all 3 cruisers this year, I had to have my dogs are getting crazy. Please ignore them. Someone will put them away shortly. All 3 cruisers needed the brakes completely done and the rotors completely done on all 3. They had never been done. I have checked all the back records as much as I could and asked all of the places that they had been taken in the past. And it's unfortunate, but this year we needed to do all 3 of them at once because they hadn't been taken care of. We had some tire issues that needed to be replaced. So when Dan Fernandez was still here, he replaced 4 tires for 2 of the cruisers. And I replaced, when I took over, tires for a 3rd cruiser. And we're just getting to the point where the mileage is getting up on the middle child of the cruisers, the SUV that is the 2014, I believe it's 2014. It is now getting up over 90,000 miles. And as you all know, with cruisers and sometimes how they have to respond to incidents, they get run pretty rough. So I'm just trying to look forward in the future and set us up in a position where we are not without.
Now, I know you had told me a bit ago that you had just ended up having to make an emergency repair to the one you drive.
Yes, I did. I don't have the repair lists with me. I will provide those to you, everything that I've done in reparations of the cruisers for the past, I think, 9 months that I've been doing this. And it is quite a bit actually, but it all needed to be done at once, because usually what happens is you rotate the cruisers. The oldest cruiser will get its brakes done. It's not often that you always have to replace rotors. But if they aren't being driven properly, the rotors can get warped. But if they also, as I'm sure you know, when you are letting your brakes go far too long, it then tears into the rotors and creates grooves in the rotors. So typically what happens is one cruiser goes in, gets brakes done, the next year or next 6 months, another cruiser does. And it just so happened that every single cruiser we had was completely unsafe for the officers to be in. In fact, one of them was so bad that the mechanic called me up and said that I was very lucky I brought it in when I did. So, yeah, we've really, I think I am down. I'm not sure, Becky, if you have that in front of you, where I'm at with my cruiser maintenance. I wanted to bring the sedan in to get the sedan worked on, but I'm kind of low in my funds into the financial part of that, due to getting everything fixed that couldn't wait.
Oh,
You have
well,
$1,000 left.
Yeah,
okay, now which cruiser is it that you're looking to replace?
I'm looking to replace the sedan, the 4-door sedan.
Okay,
I believe it's a 2015, Kristen.
Yes, 2014 or 2015.
It's, I think 2015, then there's a 2016 and the 2018.
Yes, that's what it is.
okay, Bob is raising his hand. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I wanted to say, I'm really happy that you're doing the brakes on those vehicles, because in the past, before you took over, we did ask about routine maintenance, and I don't know if it was this committee or the finance committee, of which I'm also a member.
Probably
And
finance.
it wasn't showing that the maintenance was being done. And brakes are routine maintenance. So are tires.
Mhm.
Every vehicle needs brake work, and tires is just a part of general upkeep of the vehicle. And the fact that it wasn't done wasn't good for the vehicle or for the safety of the driver. So it's good that you had those done, but that's not really indicative of the condition of the vehicle overall. So I wonder whether at some point we could have an independent appraisal of the condition of your vehicles to find out which vehicles are worth keeping, which ones are worth fixing or maintaining, and which ones should be replaced, because it seems that's a logical method rather than even mileage, because now vehicles go for so much mileage compared to the past. 150,000 miles for a vehicle. I'm not sure about cop cars, but regular cars routinely go that. So, my interest would be in finding out whether the Taurus, for example, is a solid, dependable, safe vehicle and worth keeping and keeping under, maintaining. And I don't really go for the idea of just replacing it because it's X number of years old or something. If it's good, it's good. But on the other hand, the Crown Vic, when we bought, I don't know which vehicle, we bought the last vehicle, we bought it under the understanding that the Crown Vic was going away. So I'm not concerned that thing blew up. We got more than what we deserved out of that. It was really ancient history. And we just kept it around for the internet the broadband installation. So that's not really the issue. The issue is the 3 vehicles you run. And I think would be interesting to look into the condition of those vehicles. And also, I just want to point out, I mentioned this last time. You know this, I'm sure we all do, that this is the worst year to buy a vehicle that we in recent memory. So I don't know how that comes into play, but
So Bob, yes, I really like that idea. I think when I was speaking of all of the things that needed to be fixed on the cruisers, it's because they hadn't been fixed in, 2-ish years. Oil changes hadn't been done. And,
God.
when oil changes aren't done, that actually can really affect the
Mhm.
overall, function of the vehicle at long term. And I now have them all up to date on all the oil changes and things of that. And speak to the mileage. Yeah, for regular cars, assuming that civilians are driving their cars properly and getting them worked on and things. Yes, 150,000 miles, sometimes more, depending on the make and model of the car. We're talking half that for cruisers, if not less than half of that for cruisers, just because of the way that they have to respond to incidents. I'm not opposed to having someone take a look at them and give an opinion on them for sure. And I can provide some information that from the mechanics that we've had. I actually shop around for different mechanics to get the better of the prices for whatever I need, but I can even have them maybe write something up on things that they have noticed if you wanted that.
That would be wonderful.
I think it would just be useful. But anyway, I really again want to say I'm glad you're attending to the maintenance of the vehicles, because those are very expensive things, and it's great that you're maintaining them.
I also hope,
I'm sorry, Ellen, just one more
Go
thing I
ahead. No
forgot to
problem,
say to Bob. Most expensive time of year or most expensive year to get a cruiser. The cruiser quote is almost exactly the same as it was last year as well. And the quotes that were done, I was promised that the issues that were happening in the world as far as getting vehicles were not happening with the cruisers that was happening everywhere else. So I think we're in good standing with cost right now.
are you going to go through, I can't remember the acronym or
MHQ.
thank you, MHQ to get your cruiser, which has a state bid and probably has a whole horde of cruisers sitting there.
So I did get a few different quotes from different places, and I enjoy working with MHQ. I got the quotes for Dan Fernandez when he came to you asking for a cruiser before I researched and got the quotes back then as well. MHQ is easy to work with. They have so much in availability to do what we need. And they also offer the hybrid option, which I am very much interested in. The hybrid, which will be an energy savings cost and better for the environment, on paper is a few thousand more dollars than a non-hybrid. But the person I work with tells me that the investment in the hybrid will pay us back within less than 2 years.
Interesting. In gasoline savings.
Yes, in
Wonderful.
gasoline savings, and then just, it's good for the environment as well. So I followed the template that the other departments have used for the hybrid, kept it down as low as we possibly could. We don't need any fancy anything, and just the basics. And it was a few $1,000s more, but it would pay us back.
AJ, do you have a question? Yeah.
Yeah, just had a couple of sort of miscellaneous questions. One is, can you tell us I don't think I heard what the actual mileage is on the Taurus. Is that a number you have available?
Is that the one you want to get rid, you want to replace?
Yes,
That's
and
the sedan,
I am so sorry. I had that at the office and it is not in front of me. I'm happy
Okay.
to email the plan,
Yeah.
the capital planning as soon as I get back into work tomorrow with that number.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think that'd be useful. And then also, I want to make sure I understand kind of what the plan would be here. So if you were to purchase a new cruiser, is the proposal here to care for the department to carry 4 vehicles, or would we be doing something with the Taurus? I don't know if it holds any value, but what would be your plan for that?
So I don't have a hard opinion on that. I would leave that up to the town, but my thoughts are that if the town needs to utilize that vehicle in a different capacity, that maybe it could be used in, we could shift it to another spot. Or we could look into seeing what kind of value we could get as a trade-in, or to even sell it to someone else in need that maybe doesn't have the mileage that we put in as we do. You know, the square mileage of the town is 27 plus square miles. The officers do put on quite a bit of miles. Maybe there's another town that doesn't have as many or isn't in need of as much. So I was sort of open to that. I
Okay.
didn't have a hard, I want to
Yeah.
keep it.
Yeah. I wonder, does MHQ, just as part of their bidding process, would they offer us something for a trade-in? Is that something that they do as part of their quotes?
They have in the past, and I can
Okay.
definitely reach out to my salesperson for that to see if they would be able to be willing to do that.
I'd be curious if you were able to do that, just to see what, I mean, I'm not expecting a lot given what you've described, but you know, it could be helpful.
Okay, Becky has her hand up.
I was just going to point out that there have been some years that one of the vehicles has been passed down to the fire department, but it has traditionally been an SUV. So I'm not sure if, I'm just putting it out there. I have no answers on this issue, just putting out more thoughts that need to be considered. The fire department this year is asking for a new vehicle for a potential new chief. And we will be talking to Walter about that next week.
Are any
Yeah, and
other questions?
I'm sure that vehicle's obviously doesn't take on the miles that the police department's does, but it is a significantly older vehicle, as I recall it. I've got
Yeah.
2010 Ford Explorer in my notes here.
Yeah.
So that is something I think we're going to have to kind of grapple with, because I think, you know, ideally we're like replacing these vehicles in offset, you know, years, and you know, I guess just kind of worked out this year that we've got requests for replacement vehicles from multiple departments in the same year. So I think that's something that we
happens.
have to sort of think through. Yeah.
But it happens.
Yeah.
I mean, partially because we postponed replacing them earlier. So, and I saw Bob with a hand.
Just wanted to ask, I didn't think of this. Is there any salvage from the, say if we were to purchase a new cruiser, I see that the cruiser is all set up from the factory or from the dealer with gun racks and all these kinds of sort of add-ons. Is there any salvage from the old vehicle? I mean, can you easily sort of recycle a radio or a shotgun rack or any of those things, or are those things specific to individual model cars?
Okay, Becky has her hand up to answer
I was
that,
just
I
gonna
think.
say, I know that every time we've transitioned, they've done their utmost to reuse all the equipment the vehicle has, because that stuff is all really expensive.
Yeah.
There are a few stray items in the basement that wouldn't fit on other vehicles that are still searching for a home for,
Right.
but for as much as possible, we go through that process of transferring all like the light bars in as much as we can.
I can't say
Right.
it any better. Thank you, Becky. That was
So the net
great.
cost might not include the
Exactly.
light bar, for example, if it fit,
Right.
or the,
Right.
or the gun rack or something, you know.
Absolutely.
yeah.
If we were stripping one car and we knew we were not going to be keeping that car as a police vehicle and we were stripping that car, they would work with us to utilize whatever we needed.
And whatever would
we
fit.
could, whatever
Yeah.
we could, yeah.
Right. You don't want to just put it in the basement.
Just the leftover parts.
Yeah, right. Michael, do you have any questions since you're,
No, not at this point.
okay, I just thought I'd ask.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, anybody else have any questions of Kristen? Okay, Kristen, then we'll expect the information on the mileage as soon as you get a chance tomorrow.
Okay, on the mileage, and was there anything else that anyone wanted me to?
Mm,
Oh, I
Trade-in-
know, I was gonna
Oh.
send you all the repairs as well.
Right, right.
trade-in-
Becky, you had a
trade-in.
hand up though.
I just know that Kristen is not thinking of getting a white vehicle,
Oh, yeah.
potentially
I'm
a
sure.
different color vehicle. So I just wanted everybody aware of that.
It
Yeah,
doesn't
white
change.
gets
It
dirty.
doesn't change the cost of it, but I'm
No.
trying to also cut down on time we have to wash the vehicles. It's important for us to always look squared away and look like we care about our equipment. And I will wash a vehicle and I'll get every time I'll get a call down to Pratt Corner or Montague. And the car will come back looking like I was just bahaing in the, in the mud. So, and so I'm thinking if we had a different charcoal gray perhaps, or something like that, it would help with the, spending time on keeping it clean.
Or
Do they make
blue.
vehicles in Shutesbury
Or
mud?
blue. What's that?
Yeah.
Do they make vehicles in Shutesbury mud?
Yes, right. We could have mud color. That would be quite helpful, actually.
Definitely.
Excuse me, just one thing, if you could find out about potential trade-in value, that'd be wonderful too.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great.
Oh, Kristen, could you also just confirm, I'm sure it's in here, but I just couldn't see it, but these two quotes that you shared with us, those are the hybrid trims for those vehicles, or are these?
One of them is hybrid, the
Okay.
hybrid quote, and it should say it. Let me pull it up
Okay.
quickly.
Is that the
Um,
MHQ one? No, that looks like
There is two from MHQ, and one of them is, sorry, I just was looking for that. So two are from MHQ. One of them is standard and one of them a standard vehicle and one is a hybrid vehicle. And you'll notice that the hybrid one is the 53,000.
Okay.
And if you don't have that, I'll send that along as well, because I do have that one.
Did we get two guys from MHQ? I have just one.
I've only got
Um,
one.
It looks like what I had in my stack of papers, Kristen, I don't have the hybrid.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me grab that really quickly for you and just send it. I can send it right now, Becky.
Okay. Do you
If
want to
anyone
send
wants-
it to everybody? Oh, yeah, just send it to me. I'll send it out to everybody.
Okay.
So presumably it's got all the same specs except just the hybrid
It's a hybrid.
option.
Correct.
Okay.
Very good.
And I
Excellent.
think this is it right here.
Well, I thank you, Kristen, for all your work on this, in addition to everything else you're doing.
Oh, well, I thank you for your time. I appreciate you hearing me out on this and deliberating on it. And if no one has any more questions on the cruiser, could I talk about speed boards?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yes, please do.
Okay, so does everyone know what a speed board is? Yes, so it's the electronic, hopefully solar powered speed board that you can put into the ground. You can put it onto a telephone pole. There's various different ways of doing that. We do have an old speed board in town and it works. The problem is that it is battery powered. So you need to recharge that battery daily, which means you take it from where it was or where you wanted it, and brought it back to an electrical source to charge the battery. The equipment itself is very heavy. It's on wheels, but it's very heavy. I've borrowed the town truck in order to move it down to Lakeview and utilize it down there. But then going and picking it up at the end of shift and charging it up and things like that, it sort of becomes a problem. So when I went to one of the chiefs meetings, we had a vendor show there, and Stalker was there with their speed boards. And they have some solar powered speed boards. And I think I sent that to you, Becky, as well. Did everyone get
Yep.
it? Okay.
Yep. The Stalker.
Fantastic. So this is what you have in the quote is the very modest and perfectly fine version of a speed board. It would be solar powered, so it would be staying where it needs to stay. And the one great thing about going with Stalker is any problems with it, they come out and fix it at no extra cost. It comes with a really fantastic warranty. It's about, if I remember correctly, around $3,800 for a speed board. And I would like to request that we get 3 speed boards. One would be in the center of town, and it could be discussed in which direction that it faces. But I think it's super important. We have had an influx over the past 2 years of people speeding through the center of town, going in excess of 60+ miles per hour, right over the crest of our hill at Town Hall. Extremely dangerous. And I do believe that a speed board would assist, at least capture people's attention a little bit better when they're coming through the center of town. I fear that if we don't do something in the center of town, we're going to have a very serious event. And then the other 2 speed boards I'd like to see go down in the south end of town. Perhaps I have a couple of ideas, one near January Hills. I've received quite a few complaints from the residents down on January Hills that people are speeding through there, and it's a 25-mile-per-hour zone, which should be less actually, if you wanted my opinion, just because of the way that the road is positioned. That or on one of the Pelhams. And then the 3rd speed board, I would love to have down on Lakeview, slowing people down. Not only is that important throughout the summer when we have so many people visiting our beach area and coming to the beautiful hiking trails that we have, but also I believe it's super important in the winter as well, as we do have a high number of people that come for ice fishing and continue to hike in the winter. And I feel that down on Lakeview, we've had also a number of speeders coming through town as well. Speed boards, you know, when I see them, when I'm out driving in my own personal vehicle, and I see them, I'm like, oh, that's right. And I check myself. It's fun when you get the smiley face ones.
Yeah.
Although that's an
Like them.
extra. We don't need the extra if we don't have to have it. But so that is my my request, that you think about doing that as well. Does anyone have any questions about the speed boards?
Bob? Whoop, you're muted.
Sorry. I want to ask you, we all know solar power doesn't work when the sun don't shine. So there's battery backup for these?
Yes, sir. Battery backup.
Are these batteries replaceable? Can they be recharged back at the station?
So that
Have extra batteries, in other words?
That's a great question, and I will ask the representative from Stalker if we can do that. I know that if we have any problems whatsoever, they come out and they take care of any of the issues, but I'll see if those batteries can come out and be replaced.
I own quite a few the battery technology has gotten much, much better the last.
Yes.
And now if you can have 1 or 2 spare batteries, you could just go with the cruiser, you could stop and just switch the batteries out and go back, put them in the charger back in the office, and you'd be good to go. And that would be a very useful component of this system.
Right.
And I think they're great myself. I think that they do, as you say, if you see one of the things, most ordinary people that aren't maniacs will actually slow down, you know?
Absolutely. And, you know, most of the time I have found that, you know, people are good, as a whole, people are good. And most of the time when people are coming through, and I'm talking an average person, not a young person, because those are our inflexive speeders, but an average person coming through, they're just not paying attention as they should be to the signs on the road, because they see them, they're just there and they see them all the time. So I'm a huge fan of them. And I believe that they would bring a better, safe atmosphere for us.
And we're one of the few towns around that doesn't seem to have one. Everywhere else I go, Pelham, Leverett, Amherst, everybody else has at least one floating around somewhere. AJ, you have a question.
I did, yeah. I was wondering if between these three proposed locations, if you had sort of an order of priority in terms of kind of which are the more critical issues. I'm guessing it's the center of town one is the sort of top priority.
So I do have a order of priority, and I hate saying this because I feel that everyone's neighborhood is their priority. So when I say that I have a priority, it's really just by the statistics and not by anything else. So the center of town has the most complaints, the highest number of speeders, and the greatest amount of speed that people are exceeding. And then the second would be in the south end of town. Not sure. There's a tie for 3 roads: January Hills in complaints, West Pelham, Pelham Hill in complaints for speeders. So somewhere there, I could definitely dig a little bit deeper into the statistics and find out which roadway has the most of complaints and the most speeders. The officers are on all of them. And then my third would, my third would be Lakeview. But I do want to say that I think they're all super important to, create a better, safe atmosphere. And I think the residents would appreciate that as well. It would just make them feel a little bit better knowing we're trying to slow everyone down a little bit. And we can't be everywhere at once. So.
And so the 3,800 is for one of them, correct?
That's correct.
So if we're looking at 3, we're looking at about between 11 and 12,000. Okay. Yeah, I'll tell you, as somebody who walks across the street to go to the post office once a day in good weather, it's frightening. And just trying to pull out of the town hall sometimes, you check both ways, you look at 3 or 4 times, and then you go to pull out and whoosh, there's somebody up there that wasn't there before. It is so scary.
I was almost struck while in my vehicle, I think 2 months ago, I think if I'm correct, Becky, I know I told you about it. And the person was coming up the road in the 30-mile-an-hour zone at 65 miles an hour and could not slow down fast and almost could not slow down fast enough. And my driving skills got me out of the way, but an average person might not be able to react in that as quick fashion. It's just, we're doing our best to get people educated, which is what I ask the officers to do. It is most important to educate. And I think this is just a way of educating.
I think it's a very important way of educating, frankly, as somebody who sees it every day or 5 days a week. Any other questions for Kristen? Yes, AJ.
Just, this is like a super specific question, but I live just off of January Hills. So I was wondering if the complaints you've been getting, are they kind of from this last year primarily? I guess you're
right.
You would,
so I know where you're going with this, AJ. Yeah, they did increase in numbers due to the detour.
Yeah.
But we were getting them the year prior, and
okay.
They did increase for sure. The amount of cars coming through
it's like in theory, the reason to be on that road is because you live there. So but that changed when they were doing the road.
Yes, and it's continued. I just got a call the other day that someone was unhappy, and so it did increase though, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, there are people that actually use it to get from Amherst up to like West Pelham by going Sand Hill.
Yeah. Okay, yep.
Yeah, there are all kinds of back
See that,
ways you
yeah.
can go to get
Yeah.
places. Bob?
Yeah, so Kristen, these are fixed units. They'll be fixed in position.
Yes, yes, Bob, they would be fixed in position, likely to a telephone pole because that is probably the most sturdy of all the options. And they can be removed if we need them removed, if they need to be fixed, repaired in any fashion, but they would be affixed to that steep, as opposed to putting something in the ground, cementing down, digging into the
Or a
ground.
trailer or something, right?
Right.
But
Now,
these-
Okay,
oh, excuse me.
your question though is a good one because can you legally put it on a telephone pole?
Yes.
Okay.
And obviously, it has
We
to have
can.
southern exposure.
Yes, right.
You can't be under a
And-
big maple tree, so, you know.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Bob, go ahead. Did you have another
I
question?
just think you're gonna have to come up with a strategic location that actually has sun.
And my knowledge of this software and this technology is that as long as something is not completely resting on it, snow resting on it, or, it will pick up enough to continue to keep going. And the battery life is pretty lengthy. That's my understanding.
Wonderful. Bob, questions?
I just hope you can find out how many batteries come with the system and the charger.
Yeah.
And whether
I
we
will
can-
do that, and I will add that to my email that I'm going to be sending you regarding the cruisers as well.
Thank you. Michael, AJ, any questions? No? Okay,
Nope.
thank you, Kristen. I will see you tomorrow at work.
Okay, thank you everyone for your time, and have a good night. Stay healthy.
Yeah, you too. Drive
Thanks, Kristen.
carefully. It could be
Thank you.
icy tomorrow morning.
Yes, bye.
Bye-bye. Okay. Now
And-
Gail, yes.
Hi,
Hi.
Gail.
Ah, you're in the light again. But you're muted.
There, okay. Okay,
Great.
want me to go ahead or?
Go right
Um,
ahead, please.
Gail, I just want you to know, I do have a copy of your quote I can put up. I just got it out to folks, but I can put it up when you would like
Okay.
to see it.
There are two quotes. One
Oh,
is
I
the
only have
current.
one.
Okay, basically, I'm trying to move to the cloud. Right now, I'm on a standalone system, which I absolutely hate because I've had issues and
Mhm.
errors and calls. And I'm on cloud in both Pelham and in Orange, and it's a much better way to go. I can access it anywheres. I have it on 2, 3 different computers. So I'm trying to move over to the cloud. So basically I got two quotes. The current system I'm on, which was what, $28,000 somewhere in there. And they would basically double my annual fees. Vadar is quote is about fully installed, and this is just the accountant package and the tax title package, nothing to do with collections. I know that was a concern with you, Ellen. It's just these two.
Oh, I know it had nothing to do with me.
Right. So it comes in just under 23,000 if you want to pay it all at once. And the annual fees are fixed for a period of about 6 years.
And what's the
Vadar-
annual fee?
The annual fee is, the support's
Mhm.
$44.80 plus how many portals you use. I had to put in 3 portals. We can go just with 2. I know Ryan and I have to have portals.
Yeah.
If Becky wants to have a read-only portal, then there's 3 portals. So it would be about, let's see, total, it'd be about 5,000. Let's see, yeah, they've got it at about 40, I could ask him, 4480, 2100. Yeah, 40, it would be just under 5,000 a year fixed for about 5 years. And when they do go up, it's not the 7% increase I see every year with SoftWrite right now. So that'd be a little more of a stable once you do the upfront cost. Also, Vadar has you can pay it out over 6 years, which is what we're doing in Pelham for a fixed price over 6 years.
Wow.
You don't want to come up with it all at once. And that is just under 8,000 a year if you want to purchase the system over a period of time.
Okay, may I ask a couple of questions?
Sure.
Where I had understood that one of the reasons you were doing this, in addition to needing to go to the cloud, was also that SoftWrite was discontinuing.
No, they're
No,
not.
okay,
No, but it's just,
yeah,
it's on a standalone machine.
yeah, I know
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, and I've been on the phone with them with certain times. Ryan and I have had issues. It has interfered with my side. I'm spending afternoons taking time off from my Orange job, which isn't right, to get these issues fixed. I just want to be on the cloud.
Yeah, no, I know you did because
Yeah.
Hank was in one day,
Yeah.
yeah. So I know you
And
were
my
having
computer's
problems.
going, and I
Yeah.
supposedly have a new computer on order.
Oh, good.
Okay.
But still, yeah, be so much easier, I'm sure. Now, what is the cost of the conversion, though? Is there one? Usually,
It's all
when you
part
go
of
from one
the,
company
it's all
to
part of
another,
that 22,910 cost. And
Oh,
I
it's
know
already
when
built
I
in.
did tell him, I mean, he just grabbed the numbers from SoftWrite. I reviewed them all. As far as the accountant side, there wasn't much to it. And of course, there's no training involved, Ryan. And I'm more than happy to help train Ryan on his side. And then if he needs more finite, there's other people I know that use Vadar as far as the treasurer goes.
Okay, Becky?
Gail, is the 23,000 just, you said it's only the accountant and tax title piece? Is there
Yes.
any other pieces that Ryan would need?
Yeah, Ryan needs
No,
a treasurer's
because-
piece.
Because he would enter through the accountant side, just like
Oh,
he does
okay.
now to do his
Okay,
treasurer's
That's what I
deposit.
was thinking.
Yeah,
Now,
think
that
he's
you're
very
getting a
comfortable.
tax title piece,
yeah,
but isn't that really Ryan's piece?
that is Ryan's piece.
Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was tax, okay,
He's not here to speak to
Yeah.
it on if he really needs it.
no,
I know,
I'm sure-
I mean, that's one of those, it's a nice program. But like Hadley and Orange, Hadley had maybe 3 dozen, Orange, we have about 70, 80 people in tax titles. So
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it would be easier than running it on
a
on an
spreadsheet.
Excel spreadsheet, which is
And
the way
you've
we've
got all your
always
records
done
of
it.
payments there. It's really
Yeah.
nice. I often refer to it. I have read-only access to it in Orange, and it's really nice.
Yeah, oh, I'm sure. No, the
Yeah.
way you said it, I wasn't sure of whether it was a tax possession piece or a tax title piece. Because, for you, I thought, wait a minute, you don't deal with
Yeah,
tax
no, no.
titles, you just deal with tax possession.
Right. And that would be more Ryan's.
Yeah,
And
thank
like I said, he's not here to
Yeah,
address it.
okay, Bob.
Yeah, Gail, just for interest now, you're talking about a purchase of $23,000 to acquire this system, right?
Right.
And
If
then
you want to
have-
do it all up front.
Right, so that's one factor, that's a capital investment.
Mhm.
And then you have $5,000 annual cost to run it.
Right.
So how does that compare to your budget now?
That's what I'm paying now. And this would fix it for 5, 6 years.
So basically, it
5,000
wouldn't change your budget.
Pardon me?
It's
It
not going to
wouldn't-
change your budget.
No, and actually would lower it for next year a little bit because that 22,000 would include the fee. For
Right. And
next
also,
year.
it has a piece for Ryan built into it.
Right.
So somehow or other, maybe it'd be useful to separate what he's paying for, I don't know. Is that
It would just
something
be
you
the
do now?
$3,000. It would just be the
Yeah.
$3,000.
That's in the acquisition or in the?
The acquisition, it's a one-time cost.
Okay, thank you.
Did
you're
I
using-
hear you, Gail, say
Whoa.
that the $23,000 includes the first year of
Right.
the subscription?
Yes.
That's really
Okay,
good.
so it's actually, I'm just trying to think of this in terms of a capital request. It's really we should probably think of this as
18.
an $18,000 request,
Mm.
right? Or am I not thinking of this correctly? In other words, you're saying you've already got $5,000 built into your budget for the software maintenance fees that we've always incurred.
Correct.
Gail, I only see $4,702.
Okay, that must be my estimate for next year.
Okay.
Okay, so it's roughly the.
Yeah.
a wash, yeah. So, but I guess just to make sure I'm understanding this correctly, in terms of a capital request, would it be appropriate for us to think of this, and this might be more of a question for Ellen and Becky, but as the capital piece is really about the costs of getting the system up and running, not the actual annual, like first year of our annual subscription. Is that correct?
That's up
Um,
to you guys. You want to leave it
Yeah,
in
we
there
can
and
split
pay
it
from
out
two
that way.
pots, I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
I
we
can
can
pay from
split
two
it out
pots.
that way.
I can, pay from two pots, so that's not a problem.
Yeah. But the understanding has to be that with the finance committee
Mhm.
that they have to approve that amount for the service. I mean, they can't just say, oh, well, we're not going to approve. We're going to give you $3,000 or something. You
Right.
can't do that.
You wouldn't do
So
that.
you-
Ellen. Come on.
Bob. I hope not.
No
But
way.
anyway,
No, we've approved Gail's budget every year, so if it's gonna
I'm
be
sure.
slightly
I'm sure.
different.
But you
we
can see where
understand.
I'm coming from because it's a mandatory to get the amount up to the amount that they're going to bill her.
Yep.
Becky, did you have anything else, hon?
No, I just want to make sure I go over that big spreadsheet with you in detail, Gail, just so we can split out the annual fees. and
Okay.
Not shortchange you, because we might need to increase your budget a few $100s.
Yeah. I mean, however you want to handle, I have no issue with paying from two different pots, so,
Yeah, of course not.
yeah.
Okay.
And
I'll
I'm
tell you,
sure
I
they're
am-
okay waiting for, till July 1 to get paid and such. As
Yeah.
long as town meeting votes it. It was fairly quick because, Pelham doesn't have as many accounts as you folks do, but
Mm.
it was a fairly quick process.
Do we
And
have to go? Oh, excuse me. Go ahead, Becky.
So what would be your preferred timing to set it up? I was assuming the beginning of a fiscal
Yes,
year. is what
July
you
1.
do.
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct.
Now, so you would be running both systems simultaneously for a little bit while you get
For a
the,
little bit, yeah, because I'm
Yeah,
gonna have
you'd
to.
have
work
to.
out Soft, right, yeah. But I know I was doing that in Pelham and basically, I don't get any support afterwards because I'm not paying Soft right anything.
Mhm, right.
But I mean, I have data on my old Soft right in Pelham and I'm able to go in there and look up data anytime, so that stays.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, because I know
Mhm.
Point, he won't do that.
No, I know.
No, no.
Anyway, I was going to ask you something though. Let me think. I lost it,
Okay,
but I'm glad to hear you're doing that. I really, really am.
Yeah,
yeah.
that sounds like a good solution. Just so the rest of you know that Vadar is like the top of the line for municipals
It's
accounting
one of them.
program.
Yeah.
One of
Yeah,
the top of the
especially for towns our size.
for towns our size is what I was
Yeah.
going to say. And when I was going to MMA conferences, there would be, I'm the one year I can't go to have a long talk with the Vadar sales rep. But we'll work it through.
Right.
This is
They're more than
Um,
happy to talk to you if you need names. And they're also a Massachusetts company.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Oh, I know wait a minute. It came back and went back out again. Oh, gosh.
You can always.
Oh,
email
is
me.
this a bid that has to go? Is this a purchase that has to go out to bid?
I don't think so. I know tell them we never did, but I don't think so.
I'm not sure because I couldn't
I
find
do
anything
have the
that
two
gave it.
quotes.
Yeah. Well,
would
yeah, because
imagine
of the amount, but you still have to consider multiple companies. You can't, that's what I'm saying. When I say go out to bid, I
Yeah.
mean, whatever, within
Who
the
else is
context of
doing
whatever
this?
the appropriate
Yeah, I don't
amount
know
is.
who else does this.
Only the company
one would
sells
be
its own
Munis.
software, right?
Huh?
You want that specific software, you're not gonna get anywhere else.
right. It's proprietary.
Yeah, it's
Not like
proprietary.
a Ford,
I'll look into the procurement, make sure we're not.
Yeah, I was trying to find out and I never got an answer, so I don't know. Because you'd asked me to see what I could find out.
Yeah.
Just to be on the safe side so we don't get in trouble with the auditors. That's the only reason I'm worried.
Oh, I'm sure he'll be fine with it. I'm not too worried about, I can shoot an email to Tom, but I'm sure.
Yeah, maybe a good idea though, just to
Okay.
cover do a CYA. If
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I'll shoot him an email just to let him know that we're moving over and I
Yeah.
got the two quotes and because the other one, the only one I can think of is Munis, and that's.
Oh, God, I
several-
wouldn't touch
Yeah,
Munis with a
I
10-foot
wouldn't
pole.
either. Also,
Is
you're
that
gonna pay me is a
ancient at
lot
this
more for an
time?
accountant.
Munis is ancient and then some.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
awful. Everybody I know that's on it wants to get out. Anyway, any other questions for Gail?
Me.
No? Wonderful. Great. Okay, then.
Okay,
Thank you, Gail.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gail.
You have a good night and drive carefully going to Orange tomorrow.
Yeah, and back up the hill tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, just be careful,
Yeah,
please.
bye.
Okay, gentlemen. It looks like you can all make a 5 o'clock next week, so we can, Becky, would you change the time on that meeting,
Yeah.
please? Okay, and Leslie, so tomorrow, next week, we're going to meet with God, what is it? The school and Walter.
Yeah.
Okay, so please see that we have any paperwork necessary on that one. Yes, Bob.
I want to just, first of all, I want to say, it's interesting that Gail looked like she was in a whistleblower in the witness protection program or something. But I think next week, I would like to introduce an idea of putting money, capital planning money towards the school roof engineering. I don't know what the right procedure for that is, whether the school committee should make that request but I'd like to bring it up at our meeting. So I just want to put that on the agenda, school roof next week. Is that okay?
So since we have the school coming next
Yeah.
week, that we can talk about it with them.
Yeah,
Okay, now mind you, we only have 45 minutes next week.
Yeah.
okay, but I want to get it.
I know, no, I
started.
understand.
Bob, I think it would be better if we do that one maybe at the following meeting.
Yeah, definitely,
All right,
because that
whatever, I
could
just
take a
want to put that
while.
out there. So we
And
can get started.
Maybe at least just introduce the concept, even if we don't have a lengthy discussion about it, since the school folks are gonna be there. It might be a good idea just to say, hey, finance committee had a recent conversation about,
This isn't finance.
Right.
right, but it's, there was a discussion that came out. Anyway, might just be a good idea to just introduce the
Yeah.
concept at least, yeah.
Great,
But
so,
we can't discuss it because we're not gonna have the time.
Right.
I can guarantee you that.
okay,
Okay, and we do need to set up another date, but I don't have my date book in front of me to be able to do anything tonight. So
Okay, well,
unless so we can do it next week.
sounds
Or
good.
during the week, we'll contact you and figure
Yeah.
out when we can meet.
Okay, great, you could poll us.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because Becky, knows when all the select board and finance committee meetings are that we have to avoid.
So in
Okay.
addition to 2 meetings with town reps to talk about their requests, we're then gonna need a 3rd meeting, right? To do our
Yeah.
kind of deliberation and vote?
Yeah, we will.
Is that the expectation? So we've got basically 3 more meetings for this committee?
plus
Uh,
meeting with the finance committee.
Yeah, plus meeting with
Yeah,
the
of course,
finance
right,
committee.
of course, yeah, you're right. All right,
Yes. So we have 4 meetings, essentially. Of which you 2 were involved in the last one anyway,
Yeah,
by
right,
definition,
yeah,
being on
sure.
finance. But Michael and I aren't. Okay. Any other thing to discuss tonight? Okay, then, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
I will second that.
Okay, so motion's made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Please
Aye.
say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, the motion's passed and the meeting is adjourned.
Good night.
Good night and drive
Good night, everyone.
carefully, everyone, tomorrow.
all right, take care.
Yeah, you
Take care.
too.
Good night.